with Randy Lewis here, and he works with the Hawkeye Wrestling Club. And Randy, just talk a little bit about what's going on with some of the training. Obviously, some really good talent here. 3 Olympians training here. Just talk a little bit about what you guys have been up to.
Well, we got some guys getting ready. We're going to go to Colorado Springs. Some guys are out there now. We got some more guys going out next week. A lot of people are in different schedules, but we got Paul Donahoe's moved here. He's national champ, placed first, second, and third the last 3 years in the NCAA's. He's moved here from Edinburgh in Nebraska. Lloyd Rogers is a university national champion last year at 174 pounds or 163 pounds, and he's here wrestling now. We got Mike Zadek, Doug Schwab, Olympians and world team members. Got Steve Mako and Blake Gillis at heavyweight, and so we're working a lot right now on some skills, getting our technique better, getting some learning how to counter offense better and how to defend the clinch, and learning some parterre defense and counters, and learning ways to score from everywhere.
Mako and Zadek, I think, were second in the trials last year. Schwab, I think, had an injury. Can you just? I know these guys are always hungry, but can you sense these guys? Just that hunger to get back on the world team, and
we had three guys on the Olympic team, and none of those 3 guys made the world team this year after making the Olympic team. So they're a little hungrier this year. I think they might have been a little down last year after the Olympics, and but we intend to get some Hawkeyes back on the Olympic team world team this year.
Right. Talk about the 3 Olympians. Let's each individually. Let's start with Zadek. Obviously, he's still a force.
Yeah, Mike Zadek, he's continuing to improve, but I think his biggest thing that he needs to do is he's cutting a lot of weight for that, and if he can get his weight down and feel real good and healthy, and that's the thing. I think he's 32 years old, so he's got to make sure he can keep making that weight and stay healthy, and continue to improve on his skills. And look, even people catch on to you and they scout you, and so he's got to continue to add scoring moves.
And then Doug Schwab, I know he was injured last year, wasn't 100%, was on the world team in 07, Olympic team in 08, had a big win in that dual meet against Russia. Just talk a little bit about Doug.
Yeah, I think he looked real good against the Russian, and when he's on, he's wrestling, he's real tough to beat. He added some skills late in the last couple of years to some upper body throws, some hip tosses, and some counter offense scoring moves. And boy, he's got a big gas tank. He's strong, quick, explosive. When he wrestles, he's real hard to beat.
And then Steve Mako's been back here the last couple of years after being in Colorado, and lost a tough final round series to Tervel Delagnev, who was a bronze medalist at the Worlds, and obviously Mako's going to be in contention.
Yeah, Mako, he's been in there. He's been real close several times to world teams. He's made Olympic team, but we got to get him to pull the trigger every time. If he goes out there and fires and keeps shooting and going, he's really hard to beat. But if he stands around and just thinks he can push people out of bounds, that's not the way to win matches.
Mm-hmm. And Randy, you mentioned Paul Donahoe. I know he's kind of new to the freestyle circuit as far as wrestling full time. Looks like he's gotten a lot of competitions and he's making some progress.
He's making some progress, and there's some things that we need to make some changes with him. He's got some finishes that we need to correct a little bit, and we are that are not going to work at the highest level. And he said to go out there and fail in those situations a couple times before we can get him to realize that, hey, that's not what we want you to do. Let's make some minor corrections, and we can get you back on the winning track.
And then Lloyd Rogers, another guy who's placed in a number of tournaments.
Yeah, and Lloyd's the guy that he's really picking things up fast. And I've showed him a lot of moves, and Terry Brands has showed him a lot of new techniques. And we'll show him something on Thursday, and the next day he's hitting it in practice, and a week later in the tournament he's hitting it there. So he's not afraid to add new skills and to use them and continue to improve.
You saw a couple of those duels with the Russians. You've talked about it before, but where does the U.S. close the gap on these guys? Where do we close the gap on these guys?
I think what we need to do is retain our great wrestlers. It's hard to have a brand new group of 7 guys come in and make world teams and win world world medals without the experience. So when we get somebody like Henry Cejudo, we need to get more than one gold medal out of him. We need to get more than one gold medal out of Cael Sanderson. We need them for at least 2 Olympics. When we get our greatest wrestlers, they got Satia for four Olympics. We got John Smith for 2 Olympics. We got Cael Sanderson for 1 Olympics. We got Dan Gable for 1 Olympics. So we need to get our guys to stick to that. When we do get a great one in there, we need him to stay in the sport for more than 1 Olympic cycle.